Hi everybody, welcome back to the latest of our Friday night videos about the BackleyBlack Mind-Setting Programme. The subject that we're going to talk about tonight is the importance of coping with change. So I thought I'd just throw that at Steve really, and how the Mind-Setting Programme covers that and what the importance of it is.
Yeah, thanks, Mal. It's I mean, it's integral to the program, I guess. It's you know, if somebody's interested in the Mind-Setting Programme as a whole, it is all about change because it's about personal development, it's about team development, it's about reflecting and all that stuff. So, you know, we've focused on change previously, but it comes back up again here later in the program. And essentially, I mean, we introduced the Kubler-Ross model, and it's a really interesting one because it gives us a bit of a framework to deal with change. I think sometimes it's, you know, you feel maybe overwhelmed and not understand what's going on, especially recently with so much change to all our lives, and, you know, enforced change. And I suppose that you know, therein lies the two very different aspects of change. Is either happening to you or you're taking responsibility for that change. So as sports people, if we weren't changing, you get left behind, really simply. You know, if you try and rest on your laurels, if you try and stay where you are, stand still, you know, the kind of conversation I remember having them with my coach going, it's fine, you know, it's working, let's just do the same routines again this year. It doesn't work. And it's why sports people are always changing. You know, it's part of the mindset of a successful formula. So it's why we believe it's so important in sports. In business, I'll maybe bring Roger. You know, we've been forced to change, haven't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, the irony is, I think when we retired, I think when you retire from sport, because you're constantly changing, the opposition's changing, everything's changing. You think, well, now I'm retired, I'm in the real world. I'm in our case, in the world of business. I'm not going to have to deal with quite as much change. Well, how wrong could that be? I mean, if you look at our business history over the last 15 years, 20 years, the changes have been, you know, we're always evolving. You know, mind setting is an example of that. Out of lockdown, we create this new way for us to connect with our customer base, and change it all around us. And you always hear it, and you know it's true, but it really is true. And there's so much to talk about with change. But I think the thing that I learned the most and took away from my sporting career with change is that the sort of, if you want to keep growing, you have to change when you're at the top of your game. You shouldn't always wait for change, because it's quite easy to change when things are bad, when you break your foot in sport, or when your business is really struggling, or you know, during COVID, we've been forced to make changes. It's very different when actually you don't have to change, you want to stand still. We both experience that as athletes, that you have to keep changing. The good news is, of course, you don't have to take massive changes if you're on the top of your game. A very small change can cause a huge improvement in performance. So there's so much to talk about with change. We try and give you that in the Mind-Setting Programme, but it's still a subject that is part of our lives on a daily basis, Steve.
Yeah, and just one last thing to add to that, Malc. I think because quite often people want to change and they know what they want and they know where they are. That's the first thing we encourage people to do on the Mind-Setting Programme, is to have that personal clarity. And one question I think is a good coaching one for ourselves, sort of self-reflecting, or maybe, you know, ask now if you're listening in, you know, what's stopping you change? And it might be to do with, you know, I want to lose weight, or I want to scale my business, or I want to streamline, I want to be more profitable, you know, whatever it is, what might be stopping you? And then I suppose further that, what might you be assuming that's stopping you? And therein lies some of the nuances and maybe the more subtle aspects of change, because we've got to get out of our own way. And we've got to commit to a new level of performance. And to do that, we've got to stop or get rid of the stuff that might be stopping us. So, you know, that's the kind of stuff we love getting into, and you know, rolling our sleeves up and helping people do that.
And I guess over the next couple of years, with, you know, hopefully the economy emerging from, you know, what we've just gone through, really, that there's going to be massive opportunities for people, and you know, people are going to get left behind if they're not embracing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Malcolm, and you would know that more than we would. You live in, you know, you have so many customers and so many clients facing challenges, but also you have clients that are thriving. And I think, yeah, you have a choice. You can either sort of feel down about it, or you can do something about it and see that there are opportunities, and many people have and will thrive through this awful situation that the whole world's been going through. But I guess it starts with your mindset. It's a choice, and if the mindset isn't in the right place, you're probably going to make the wrong choices.
Fantastic, guys. Thanks very much for your input this evening. We'll catch up again next week for the next in the series. Thank you.
Cheers, Malcolm.